this is. Okay, so this is the project I want to change the date. So I will go back to the project window. So I'll click on enterprise, I select project. So my project window will come out. So I will locate the project I want to change the date. I want to change this one. I click on it. So I will go to date under this project details. So this particular dance site in the project space is called project detail. In activity space, it's called activity details. So under here, you have different buttons. So I will select the date. Under the date, you will see project start date. So take note, if I change this date, let's say it's in July 1st, I change this date to, let's say, July 8th. Okay, I press enter. Then automatically this one will change. But if the data date did not change, please change it manually as well. Take note of that. Let both of them be the same date if you are moving forward or backward. As soon as you have done this, just go and open your project, right? So by default, it's supposed to adjust, but my case, it did not adjust. You click on schedule here. If you click on schedule here, you check, confirm this current data date. If it's aligning with the new date, you change. If it's not aligning, move it to the new date. Then you click on OK. But my own is aligning. That's all. It will change your date. Everything will just reschedule. My finish date will change, and my milestone will pick all the whole changes. Right? You see, my project start date now is now 8 instead of 1st. The finish date now is now 15. Okay, so that's how it operates. I want to change it back to 1st of July. I go back to project here, right? I select it. I go to date. I click on the project start date. I send it to July 1st. Okay. Then you will see something like this. This one has changed automatically. I will go back to project again, and I will schedule it. This thing, we call it schedule. You see this clock here, schedule, or you press F9. If I click on it like this, I will say, okay, it will schedule for me. It goes back to July 1st. Now, there is a limitation. The limitation is that, what if you have started progressing this project? When we say progressing a project, we mean you have started reporting this project. You have sent out your first report or your second report, or even the project has been going on since last year. And now you are now asked to move the date forward, which in real situation it can happen, but mostly is a project that has started, and they will ask you, okay, it did not start when it's supposed to start. At your first report, you'll now be asked to push the date forward when the actual time when the project started. It planned to start on 1st of July, but now we are starting on the 8th, right? So we are supposed to start last month, but we are starting last week, but we are starting this week. So in that case, you will now be asked to push it forward. But the truth is that you have also progressed it. When we say progress, it means you have updated it. Like, for instance, to update this, I want to update contract award. I will click on contract award. I'll click on status. Then I will say start. I will say finish. Okay. Now see, I have updated it start 1st of July and finish 1st of July. If I go back to project to change the date, this one that I've updated will not follow me. That's where we have issue, right? Now let me go and do it now. I'm going back to project. I want to change the date to 8 because we did not start that time. I say 8. Okay. Then I go back to activity and I do scheduling. I schedule it here. Okay. So I'm scheduling on the 8th. So watch. Everything has changed, but this
Your screen
particular
has
one comes forward.
your screen has
Please, is that same in everybody's screen? Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, I'm seeing
your screen is frozen somehow.
You can log out and log in. So automatically, if you look at this now, you find out that the July 1st did not change, but every other thing has changed. This is just how it works. Okay, so now if I want this thing to change, I will go back and remove it, not finish. I will uncheck this finish percent 0. If this 100% is not 0, this not, you cannot uncheck this first one. Please take cognizance of this, or I will teach this thing when we start looking at how to progress a schedule. I will teach it. Okay. So then I will go back and I will reschedule this. If I reschedule this automatically, you see this first one, contract award, has changed now. Okay. So please, this is just the second level of our learning, right? We are just trying to wrap up the first level. So the second level, we will learn these things in detail, where you need to understand most of this in case you are trying to amend some schedule timeline, right? You should note that whenever you have progressed it, it's not going to change again. It will remain like that. If you want to change it, you will remove all the progress you have updated, neutralize it to 0, then you do your change, you now update it again, right? So that's how we maneuver that. Any question for this? If there's no question, let's go straight to today's class. Just 30 seconds. If there are questions, please feel free to raise your hand. If you don't understand what we did, please let me know. All right. Now, today's class, we want to look at how to resource your schedule. Okay. So now, please take note. It's important you understand this particular aspect. Resourcing a schedule is very simple. It's just the ability for you to add resources to your schedule. Okay. The question now, looking at all these projects, remember I told you planning is not an isolation work, neither is it a one-man business. So in planning, we have the project management team. These are the calibers of men assigned to you, right? So when we say calibers of men, not like they are your boys. Most of them can be your father, your uncle, right? Most of them can be expatriates. So they are your colleagues, and both of you are together to resolve issues. And most of them are competent in terms of the knowledge, the skill required to do the job. They have done it different places. They understand the job. So what you do is, yeah, you can also have knowledge of the job because there is no course. I think we have project management as a course, but it's even difficult. Most of the project management, they always focus on project managers. It's difficult to even see them as planner. So which simply means that you can be a mechanical guy, you can be a civil guy, and you later pick plan. You choose this program, and after this program, you become a planner. You can be an electrical engineer. So it means you have your knowledge about electric engineer in your site. You don't go there and bamboozle him. Oh, is to work with him. Then if there are mistakes he's making, you can correct, you can identify those mistakes and correct them. And tell him the implication of this. If you do it like this, look at what you will get. You suggest we do it like this. Yeah, because you have the knowledge. But in most cases, you might not even know anything about it. It's only the guy that knows it. So now, how do you now know people that will be used to do this job? Let's assume you are into you just resume a job newly. You have not even heard about contract award. You have not heard about kickoff meeting. You don't know anything about site visit, but it's part of the activity that the guys told you that we are going to do. So how do you know people that will do this activity? You must start answering questions. Okay. First thing you must ask yourself, this activity, where did it fall in? Now, it fall into preliminary. You now start answering, who owns the WBS? Preliminary WBS is owned by the project managers and delegated teams. So it means if you don't even know who owns it, you can ask the project manager, say, how far this activity, what does it entail? Who and who is involved? The project manager will tell you. And if project manager don't have that information, he will refer you to the person that have the information. And if he is not referring you need to ask, who will I meet? He will tell you the person. And please, first thing you do whenever you join a team newly, please get their contact and their job role. Because most times you don't even need somebody to tell you who to meet. Let's say the second item here, WBS here, mobilization. As soon as you hear mobilization, what comes to your mind is project manager and HR. So, but your first contact is your project manager. How far? How are we doing mobilization? Have we gotten the personnel? What are their threads? Project manager will tell you, okay, I have them. I have drafted out the list of people we need for this project. You will request for it. Can I have them? I want to resource load. In some cases, they will tell you, go and resource load and tell us the people we need for this project. So it means you will now come down to start thinking of, each of these activity, who do we need, right? How many persons? You will work with all the engineers in their various activities to know who you need and how many persons you need, right? And as those discussions is going on, you are documenting it. You will now use it to build what we call your resource pool, where you will start assigning those people to this project, okay? I always advise people, make sure you sit down and plan your resources. If you sit down and plan your resources, you will utilize your resources very well. What I mean by planning your resources is check the activities and ask yourself who is going to do it, right? After doing number one activity, will they go to number two, or are we bringing on other people? So you should be able to know who will do it. Let me give you an instance from what we have on our screen. Now, let's assume I want to plan engineering. So I meet the project manager and ask him, who is going to develop this document? And he told me he's the one, right? I will just write it, okay, project manager will work on this document for 21 days. So the question now remains, project manager working on this document for 21 days, will he be able to do other things? If no, it means for 21 days, project manager is busy. He cannot do any other thing. But if yes, I need to know how many hours he might be putting in. Now I can use my description, say, look, project manager is everywhere at the same time, right? It means he might not give this document more than 2 hours. So I will assign project manager only to 2 hours or 1 hour in this document for 21 days. I can't assign him 8 hours. So you will not see the way you assign someone, and which means project manager can work on this document and work on another thing the same day because he have at least 8 hours to work a day. So he can work on 8 different activities, giving him 1 hour per activity, right? So instead of loading project manager 8 hours here that will keep him busy for 8 days, I will automatically split it based on the effort he's going to put in. So your resource loading will be based on the effort the people have worked with, maybe possibly in one project or work for 1 or 2 months. You start knowing all these things. So when you look at it, you know that this is the HAC person. But what if we don't have HAC person on board? You will still go back to the project manager to know who will do this job. And the project manager will tell you, okay, don't worry, I will ask the QAQC if he can help us. Right? So now you now come here and assign. And also assign it to the HAC guy. But you know that QAQC will be the one to do it. You understand? And why are you knowing people doing it is you can also use that opportunity to verify if this 21 days is okay. Right? That's why it's good to know those doing it. When you know them, you can understand what we call productivity. What is their productivity? They have done these things in several projects. They know how long it takes them, right? You can discuss with them and say, okay, 21 days is okay, or it's too small, or it's even too big. Anyway, you can also manage it. The same thing with the QAQC. So you can ask him how you get the people doing the job by answering questions. But nevertheless, there are some you need to use your description, your head. Let's take, for instance, under Okay, under procurement, you just discuss with the procurement team, and anything procurement team is giving you, please put buffer. If they tell you this item will be available in 2 weeks, please add additional 1 week, right? If they tell you it will be available in 6 months, please add additional 1 month. Please make sure you put enough buffer in procurement. This is one area we normally have issues. And without procurement, no work can be done. No work can be done. Take note. You can't do any reasonable job without procurement, despite any project you are doing. Okay, unless the project doesn't involve buying, you are not buying anything, right? Else, you'll be frustrated. So we always put buffer because it's external factor. It's depending on external factor, right? I remember there's one eternizer column that was installed in LNG during the last shutdown, right? So it gets to a point, the column, because it's coming from China, there was some strike, federal government strikes. As a matter of fact, they say the ship is not selling. It remains there. So even at a point when it gets to Nigeria, Nigeria said they can't clear it. They need different documents. So these factors coming up was not planned for, right? If you did not have enough allowance to accommodate it, it will make your schedule to look miserable. In fact, you will see red everywhere. All right. So what we normally do in procurement is depending on external factor, we always put buffer. So those buffer will help you. Those buffer is just additional days that will help you to manage all those risks. Then if you are luckily enough, everything went fine, good. It comes early before the timeline expires, good and fine. Then if there are delay, you use your buffer to accommodate those delays. Please take note of that. It's very, very important. And adequate tracking is also important. Okay. Yeah. So now when you now come to measure and cut, okay, also note that not all the duration or all the number of persons given to you by the engineers that we accept. So you will do what we call indirect querying. Remember I said they are not your boy. If they are your boy, you can just tell them, you come here. How many persons will you use to do this cutting of the pipe? He said, I need 7 persons to finish it in 1 day. You say, why 7 persons? I will give you 1. Go and finish it in 1 day. But they are not your boy, right? They are your colleagues. So what we do is we do what we call close discussion. You use what we call close questions, right? You use question like, okay, for this cutting, how many personnel do you need and how long will it take? You will say, if I have 2 filter guys, I'll be able to finish the cutting in 1 day. You now said, okay. Okay, let's say if I have 2 filter guys, I'll finish the cutting in 10 days. You now said, okay. So you now ask, how many pipes can 1 filter cut? Already you know the quantity of pipes. How many pipes can 1 filter cut? He will give you. When he gives you, now use that calculation and do your own calculation. So you might end up finding out that the 2 filter can finish it in 3 days. Not told me, but if 1 filter can cut this now, they should be able to finish it in 3 days. You say, now, you say, okay, what will happen? Let's keep it 4 days. You understand? So that's how we discuss with them. But don't insist, but you have a firm discussion. You can see them, they'll start telling you the challenges that they might face. So somebody will say, this thing is we are cutting with, I don't know the type of machine. You say, no, we are giving so and so machine. You say, okay, if it's that machine, 3 days is okay. So we tell you, and the problem that they always have is mobility. To bring those guys from lay down to from the site to the lay down, right? You tell the person no problem, because you as a planner will be unblocking some issues. Not that you have the power, no, just that up between the workers and the management team. So now an engineer is telling you that he needs more workers. And if you can help him move the worker early as possible, that they will be able to meet up your target. So don't go and say no problem. And at the end, you won't do your own part. The engineer doesn't drive job. In fact, they want to remain there because most of them, their contracts are based on how long the project lasts, right? So now you will be the one to drive it. And what you will do is, after discussing with him, you say, okay, yeah, I hear you. I will take it to the and he's requesting that the guys, a vehicle should be assigned to them, or there should be a way to move his worker as early as possible to meet up our target. You will be there. Simple as ABCD. Your project manager will say that's not an issue. Call the driver. When do the guy want them to go? It's call driver and they will give him instruction. Please, so time, pick these people from this place and send them to this place. That's just all. Next thing is just to follow up, know whether the driver is compiling, is actually complying with what was the instruction given to him, or even the workers themselves, are they the ones not complying and complying? So if this aspect was actually ionized, you find out that everything works. So this is your core duty. So your duty is aligning with them, right? Rationally, you will be able to shrink some durations, but understanding their challenges and what support you can provide for them to resolve, to get that job done in a shorter time. But don't impose it on them. Reason why you need to impose duration on them is if you impose duration on them, they will use less that duration. They will make sure you overrun. And they will also come to tell you that they told you this is not possible, right? So that's why you work with them and make sure they are committed. Anytime they make commitments, right, and both of you agree, they will work towards their commitment, because everybody wants to align unless something changes. And if something changes, you also see them telling you, look, we also agree that you give us vehicle, but you see vehicle is not coming and you already know the implication, right? So both of you can also realign, right, and see how you is how you can manage them. And if you are lucky enough, they already have a project management background. It means your work is lesser. But if they don't have project management background, you need to make sure you bring them to a level that they will start appreciating risk in project. Maybe once in a week, they'll just use 30 minutes to share a slide. So you prepare slides, share to them. They will start understanding the reason why they need to meet up timeline. They will start understanding the implication of not meeting up timeline. So with that, you may be able to get their buy-in about 30%, and you start seeing them doing well. X, you you don't need to tell them the importance of timeline, because there some of them are there because of just their money. They're not interested in what you are doing. They'll just work, take their money, and go home. You understand? Why some don't even want to work? They just want to come and collect the money and go. So if you like, preach from now till tomorrow. It's your own business. Their own is pay them, let them go. If you even pay them, you won't see them at all, right? So now it's our duty to ensure that all these things are aligned. Now, having understood how you can get most of these resources when you don't know. Okay, before I forget, let me also chip in another way. There's what we call productivity list. Like for the welding and fabrication, they have a template. We call it norm. You'll be hearing about welding norm or fabrication norm. It contains different sizes of pipe and how long it takes you to cut it, the size, the schedule, which is the thickness of the pipe, and how long it will take one welder to each. All you need is to confirm the size of the pipe, confirm how was the length, right? You now start checking how many weld joints or how many cutting are you going to done in one. Let's say the pipe is 80-meter length, and each of them you are cutting 3 times, which means each length of pipe you are going to cut 3 weld joints, right? If the pipe is 100, it means you are cutting 3 times 100, 300 weld joints. So if you are cutting 300 weld joints, you now go inside the file. First of all, you check the size of the pipe. you locate it. If it's 16 inches pipe, you locate it in the file, which is the norm file. You go again and check you check how long it takes one filter guy to cut one weld joint. If they tell you that it takes him 2 hours or it takes him 4 hours to cut it, you now multiply 4 times 300 weld joints. You now divide it by the number of days. If you are using 8 hours a day, you divide it by it. You now give out time or days it will take the welder to cut to finish that 300 weld joint. So with that, you can now start answering yourself some questions. If one person takes, let's say it's taking him 100 days to finish 300 weld joint, right? How many days will it take 2 persons? You find out that it's half of 100, which is 50. Then what if I bring in 3 persons? You find out that it will be taking 3 persons automatically something like 25 or 20 something days, right? This is basically how you get it. So you just keep on doing the division, right? Automatically you just see the number of persons you want to use. So in those cases where your engineer or your PM will say you recommend, that's how you recommend, and we'll call it productivity. You will use productivity rate to now get the number of persons you are going to use. And if by any means they say you should reduce the duration, you already know you are going to increase the people doing the job. Okay? And that's just how that one goes. Okay, Manuel, you can answer your questions while we start the practical. And if there is any other questions, please let's feel free to ask. Please, I'm taking my time to explain this so that we'll all be on the same page. Emmanuel, can you go ahead with your question? Okay, Emmanuel, when you are ready, just let me know. All right. Now, for us to start the resources, so there is something we need to do, and that thing is very simple. First of all, we need to create these resources. Okay. Then the question remains, how do you create resources? Step number 1, you go to get. Emmanuel, can you hear us now?
I hear you now. Good evening, please.
Yeah, just go ahead. We are hearing you.
Can you hear me? All right. Please, during the point for procurement, there's something I forgot and I've lost where I put down the information. You made mention of tracking, telling us that it's important you track while embarking on your procurement. Please, can you help us with the tracking? The method of tracking during the notes. So I couldn't remember the stuff again. The method say.
Okay, so when we say tracking just means follow up. But with the level we have gone, so the thing is, can we be able to put ourselves? Your procurement is telling you that block, the rod you are using is coming from Lagos. So you start thinking, how do you communicate effectively with these guys to ensure that this item comes in on time? That's what we call tracking. Tracking is just following up, right? You are not the one buying. If you are not buying, you will call the people directly and ask them how far, where is the things. But now you are not the one buying. But however, you need to come in because the people buying don't know where it's pinching, right? Anytime it comes in is okay for them. Although you have told them that we need it on or before, They will tell you they are trying, but those people. That's what we normally hear, right? So now all you need to do is as simple as ABCD. So first thing is, if they are going to produce that item for you, please tell them to give you a schedule. So schedule is a way of getting them committed. Anything you are doing with somebody and there's no lay down process, there's no expectation, no timeline, the person will end up doing it when he wants now. But when there is timeline and the person is the one that actually says time, that's the same thing we said when you are resourcing. Let the people be committed to the number of resources and the the time it's going to take, but you need to do some questioning and make sure it balances. If they develop a schedule and give you, so you now monitor them based on their schedule. I think that's one of the key things I mentioned, that you monitor them. They have, and the next thing is, since it's a schedule and you are not there, let's assume it's in abroad. So the next question is, how do you now know what is happening abroad? Because somebody can be progressing a document and be sending to you, telling you I'm doing it, but he's not doing it. And we now say attach picture. What they are trying to do is to make sure that what you are reporting is true. They don't want a scenario whereby, because they are forcing you to report and telling you to finish on time, you will start sending them fake reports. They will start requesting for pictures. They won't stop there. They will also come for inspection. What are they coming to inspect? The ship is leaving and attach it in their report. So all those things gives you confidence. It gives you a clear say that look at the stage, look at the color of the container, look at the bag they put the item. So all those things helps you to track it. Okay. Then the next one is your procurement team. So procurement team are funny. What they normally do is to disconnect everybody so that you will not know the interaction between them and the vendor. So but what you will do is you advise them to put you in copy between the mail, because the vendor can reply email. 1 week procurement, vendor is requesting for something. Procurement team has not even gotten back to the vendor. So you see how important it is for you as a person to ensure that you are in copy of that mail. So if in copy of that mail as a planner, planner, we don't play with mail. Anytime mail comes, we have read it, we have responded to it. So since you are not the one replying, you can prompt your procurement team that the vendor just replied the mail and please they should respond to the guy. You understand? But if you are not in copy of that mail, seriously, that mail can stay there 1 week. It's only when, maybe possibly when there is heat, you now get back to the vendor or one way or the other. Maybe you locate one of their mail and forward and ask the vendor, where are we on this? The vendor will not reply, telling you that there's a mail sent to so and so person. He's still waiting for his response and time is going. So these are the possible ways to track procurement. Okay. Then in place, if it's something your company can afford to send somebody to go, they should send people to go. If they have someone there already, they just hand the person over the procurement process. The person should be the one following up with the vendor, making sure that, in fact, the report should be coming from the person, not the vendor. Yeah. So that's the way you track procurement. I don't know
Very
if we are
clear.
clear.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. So now, step here is now, second step here is now for you to click on this plus item. Okay, you click on plus item, you can see it requesting that is requesting to add resources. It's telling me that I have some resources that are hidden. That do I want them to display? If I say okay, it will display and see what it has displayed for. All my resources is up. Okay, I want to create a new one. Okay, all I need to do is, let me minimize this so that it won't look confusing. So all I need to do is this. I just need to, or let me delete this. I just need to start. Emmanuel, hold on. Or just go ahead and ask your question. Start. I can concentrate and explain this.
Thank you. Sorry for dragging you behind. Please, I think the way you were doing it before, like you have done some resource persons in preliminary mobilization and procurement. I thought you would have go on to give us the general idea before you can now proceed to the steps. That will actually help you. Thank you if it's possible.
Sorry, come again with your question.
Okay, I said I think it would have been nice if you could also go ahead to finish the WBS, the resource personnels in each and every WBS, so we can have general idea before you can go ahead to giving us the step. I don't know if it's possible. The way you did for preliminary mobilization, procurement, things like that, so we can actually grab all the WBS.
Okay, so I think I explained it now. You can get it. If I give you this in procurement in already in the scope. What can one person do, right? Then how can you reduce, or do they need more? Because you are looking at accuracy. If you don't get the accurate number, right, you will find out that at the end, the people might not be able to do the job. And at the same time, you are overrunning. And you will start looking for workers at the middle of your project, which is not advisable, right? So that's why you need to ask some close-ended questions that will help them to tell you the truth. And when they are saying the truth, you just need to do some calculation within yourself, right? You are asking somebody how many machine we finish 10,000 block, and he tells you that look, that he will use 2 machines to do the job in 3 days. You start asking how many how many block can he lay? They tell you 70 blocks. What does that tell you? Automatically that 2 persons cannot do it, right? How can you tell me that 2 persons we finish 10,000 blocks and 1 person can lay 70 a day? In 2 days, the 2 persons can only lay 140 times 2, 280. Then what happens to the 700 and something blocks? So this is the questions you ask them, because most times if you place your trust in them, they will disappoint you, right? Because sometimes they are not emotionally stable to tell you the real truth, and most of this truth needs calculation, right? So what you now do is, since he says 7 persons, 70 blocks 1 person, you can now divide 10,000 divided by 70. You now know how many person can do that job a day. So if you now want to check how many days, you can now start reducing it by adding more person. So that's just the idea I have painted around it. And this is what you should understand, not actually telling you a particular person that will do a particular job. No. But as we go through this, right, you might be able to get the people that will be doing them. Okay. Right. I will be mentioning them for you. I think I even have a file where I actually took my time to put those things. Okay, so but let me look for it if I can find it good. Okay, so that's just what you need. You need it because you are growing, you are not stagnant. That's what you need. So if you understand what I've said, it will solve your problem anywhere you
All right,
are
thank you.
without much stress. Yeah.
Yes, I
So also
got it.
remember, as I said, for fabrication, there's what we call productivity, or a norm list that contains how long it takes them to weld a certain inches of pipe and all the rest. Those of us who are familiar with fabrication, you know what I'm talking about, right? So they have it as a Bible that covers what they do, and also use it to do their estimation. We call it estimating resources. Use it to estimate resources and duration. Yeah. Okay, so other than that, how to create it continues. Okay. So how to create it. I know we avoid this video, so I shouldn't even waste time on this. Now, first thing, I will create what we call the resource pool. Resource pool is just one resources that will hold other resources. Okay, so in this case, I will just create one. So this particular one now, you see it here, it's telling me ARU2, new resources. You all might be telling you ARU1, new resources, or bringing a dialog box. You can stop that dialog box from not showing by just clicking on that dialog box. Don't display this again. You click on it and click finish. It will just summarize. So now this one is under this ASA resources. So I don't want it to be under ASA resources. So automatically I need to do, first thing is to move it out. I will use this bar to move it out. It's now on its own and it's now at the bottom. Okay, so I can now come here and I rename it. I can just put it decommissioning. So I want it to be my resource holder. Okay, then I'll come here. I will now name it decommissioning and installation.
Mister, your screen is not showing.
Please, can someone confirm that my screen is not showing? Okay,
Yes,
confirm when you can.
your screen is not showing, sir.
Okay, confirm when you can see it.
It's showing now.
Okay. All right. So I'm just trying to, I created these particular resources. So I want to use it as a placeholder to hold other resources. So I'm just typing installation of, let's say, 16 inches pipe. Okay. So I'll press enter. So this is the resources. So I will now start adding other resources inside. So now, first thing I will add here, let's say I will add PM. So I just come here under the ID, I'll put PM. While under the resource name, I will just put project manager. Okay. So now I've added my PM. So now I need to confirm. I need to confirm this PM that I added. How much am I paying it? So sometimes you'll be hearing cost loading. So which means you are loading cost. How much am I paying this PM? Okay. So and what type of resources is it? So first thing he said no. The second M is money, which is cost. Is PM a cost? We said no. The next one is machine. Is PM a machine? We said no. Okay. So now how do you know three of them? Look, the labor means human being, manpower, which is one of the third M, manpower. The material means anything that is consumable. Material simply means whatsoever you put into a work that you might not bring out again is a material. You use cement, mix cement and sand and work. We cannot find the cement again. The bag of cement is empty, is a material. You bring out nail or use electron after welding, we are not seeing the electron again, is a material, right? So now when you now see non-material, this is where you now see equipment, your machine. You take your truck, take your crane, right? Your different types of heavy duty equipment to the site, and at the end you move them out, right? They are all non-labor. So please differentiate them. Labor, human being; material, consumable; and non-material. Then for cost, which we can add cost here. So you can go down here under details. Okay. Okay, we'll add cost. I just want us to do everything here at once. Okay, let's just add cost here under unit rate. So now this is project manager, and project manager is a labor. I select labor, although by default labor will come out. So the next thing is, how much are we paying project manager? So I'm paying project manager $50 per hour. So I'll press enter per hour. So any place I assign this, automatically each hour he work will pay him $50. The next thing is what we call the maximum unit per time. Now, project manager, because we are using days, he can only work 8 hours. So you can also change this maximum unit per time to the number of hours, which is the maximum time project manager can work. Take note of that. So, but for the cost of this project, we'll keep project manager 8 hours. Okay. Now that gives us another topic. Okay. Let me see. Let me bring out this. So let me just explain it with MS Word. Okay, so now there are two ways of creating resources. We have what we call resource. You are creating resources by resource name. We say resource by name, and we have resource by thread. Okay, so these are the two basic ways we create resources, either by name or by thread. Take note. Now, the one I created using the project manager name is by name. In this case, it means I know all the whole people that I'm going to use, right? I know Emeka as carpenter. I know John as welder. I know Paul as a filter guy. I also know Chus as a driver. So I know my workers. In fact, in our company, we know everybody by their name. So if I'm asked to assign them a job, I will assign it or create it as a resources using their name. Like the project manager, I can just come and I create John project manager, right? We all know. Okay, so there's what we call resource by trade. Under resource by trade, you group people together. In this case, let's say for instance, your project manager asks you to resource your schedule and recommend how many persons will be used for the project. In that case, what you need to do is you cannot come and say, okay, you see, one is that you cannot assign only one filter to do a job. You can put one welder, but you can't assign a filter, just like assigning only a messy man to go and lay block. It's not possible. So you can now resource them by trade. You cannot say, you can, let's say in our case now, I can say team one, let's say team one under resource by trades. Let me say team one, under team one, I will put team one contains one welder, and two filter guys and two filters. Now, this is now three persons in this team. So anywhere you see me creating resources, team one, it simply means one welder and three filter. And how many man hour? Remember, in the one we did for project manager, I give it 8 hours. Now, each of these people can work for 8 hours based on our calendar. Then I will now times 8 times 3 will give me 24 hours. So in that place, I say maximum unit per time, I will put 24 instead of 8. So it's not telling me that these guys, it's nothing that these guys are actually working 24 hours a day. So anywhere I assign team one, they are going to execute 24 hours a day. Then if I want to assign that 24, I will go ahead and make it 8. If I change this number 8, it simply means I'm assigning one person among this team. But I'm the only one that know the person that I'm going to assign. All right? It might look a little bit confusing, but let me just in pieces. Unless anyone have question. X, let me go ahead with the explanation. Okay, now I've created this young man, project manager, as one person. Then this time around, I want to create my team one, and my team one contains one welder and two filter. Okay, so what I will do, I will come down here, I will click enter. I actually click 2 times, but let me remove one so that it won't get you guys confusing. So now this one now is under project manager. I will bring it out because it's not reporting to project manager. So I will now come here. I will say, look, this is my team one. I can call it T1, right? I will call it team one. Now, I have a book that contains the meaning of team one. Nobody else knows what team one means unless my team or my project manager or whoever that actually look at that. But to make it clear, I can say welding team one so that it make more sense. I also know that welding team one have two melting, one welder and two filter guides. I will now come here. I will select this. It's already on level. Then I will go to, remember, I can go ahead and split these things one after the other, welder one, filter two, or even with their names. But this method we always use it to assign people in group. We call it resourcing by thread. We use it to assign people in group instead of assigning it one after the other. Then next thing you need to note among this is under the cost. Let's say the helper, one of them is going with $10 per hour. So now I have two filter guys, which is $20. Each of them is taking $10, $20. Then the welder is taking higher money, which is $20. So in this case, I will now put $40 per hour, and you can all attest to how I will get this $40. Two filter is $20. One Well, that one is pretty simple. It's just they are paying him yeah. So the floor is open for questions. Before we do a rush to some of them, I will assign it why I'll allow you to do the remaining ones as an assignment. So remember, the more you practice, the more you know. Any question? Okay, if there's no question, let me just
Hello.
quickly add one or two resources. Now I want to add, please, if you want your hand up. Okay, let me go ahead with the HSC guy. So this one, I'll just write HSC. Then I can
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
so why I'm not changing anything? Sorry, I'm not giving them. Okay, this guy is $12. This procurement guy is, let's say, $12. This guy is NDT guy is $15. $15 per hour. Okay. Now, looking at my project, let me look at my projects. So let me look at my project. In contract awards, we will add planner, we will add QAQC, we will add the mechanical engineer, and we'll add the PM. So let me just create those ones that we need there. So I'll just show you how to add them. So I will add planner now. Mechanical engineer, and this guy is taking $30 per hour. Okay. Who else do we identify? Okay, that's pretty fine. Let's go ahead. I'll go back to the activity now. I want to start assigning resources. Okay. So for me to assign resources, one thing I need to do is I'll bring that column. Okay. I will bring that column, right? I need to bring that column. So to bring out a column, I will see I shifted this one to the side so that I will see more space. I will bring out the resource column here. So I'll just go here. I will click on column. Look at how I brought out that dialog box. You see the heading here that is empty. Right click, the dialog box will appear. You select column. Okay. This column will appear. Then let's say for instance, I don't know this ones here. This column here are these select option, selected option. This is the ones I have here. I want to add from available options to select options. It will not display here. So now I don't know where inside all these category where the column is, where the resources is. So what I need to do is I'll just click on any one here. Inside here, I'll just do Control F, which is fine. I will put resources. I will type resources. So even if you don't know the full spelling, please just type the one you know, press find. You see it start looking for resources for me. I will click on find next. Okay, it keep on going. It's showing me resource ID, but I need the resources. Is now on resources now. I can close this. Then I click on this last place and I click on this first one. It brings it in for me. I will say apply and I will say okay. My resource column is out. You can see resource column. So this resource column helps you to add resources. Please take note. All right. So if I double click here, it will bring out these resources for me. I can start adding. Okay, now note. Let's go ahead. Now I want to start adding. Remember, this is our first, this is a milestone. We don't add resources to milestone. Please take note. Milestones are events. As such, we don't add resources to it. Okay? Yeah. So I will start from contract award. So for contract award, the first thing I do is I click on it, double click, it will open. I want to add the PM. So I will click on PM. I will click on select. You see, PM is here now. Okay. Now, I don't like using here to know what I've assigned. So I will right click and bring out our activity details. So this is where I use. This is where I use to know what I've assigned. Right? So I will look at resources here. If you don't have it, you also right click here, click on customize, and you still go back here and bring out the resources. Push it here. Okay, so because I have my own, there's no need of pushing it. Look at it here. I will just click on OK. So I'll click on resources here. It will show me the resources that I've assigned. If I click on contract award, it shows me PM. Now take note. Remember, we said PM. This activity is 1 hour. So now PM is going to work here. How many hours are we going to give PM? It's only 1 hour. So what will I do? I will now come maximum unit per time is 1 hour. Then budgeted default unit per time is, maximum unit per time is 8 hours. Default unit per time is 8 hours. Then I will now come to my so I will now come here. I will say no. In this particular job, I want this guy to work only 1 hour. Okay. I want it to work only 1 hour. So I need to bring out, there's a column I need to bring out that will tell me what this guy will do. Okay, so this is the, budgeted labor, budgeted unit. Okay, this is the cost. So let me bring out. This remaining unit per time. So let me remove things that are not necessary. Okay. Yeah, we don't need this. Okay. Okay. So I actually need this budgeted unit per time. Okay, now so this is where we'll now say, look, for our project manager that we have assigned, the PM, okay. So we'll now say this PM the time he will work is only 1 hour. We say 1 hour, right? So it's just giving the PM 1 hour. And if you watch, the budgeted cost is just $50 because that's what the PM is going to work. Although the PM can work for 8 hours maximum, but for this activity, we want him to work only 1 hour. So I want to add another person. Okay, I'll just click here as well. Then I will add the planner. The planner should also be in this. I will add the planner or mechanical engineer. Okay, I will add the planner, and all of them is going to work for 1 hour. So I will come here, I will say, look, you are working 1 hour, then you are working 1 hour. So I will type it manually. So despite the fact that they have the ability to do this job for 8 hours, but for the course of this particular activity, they are going to work only 1 hour. I will do the same thing in kickoff meeting. I will add these 3 persons. So I can just come here, select 3 of them, okay, and I click on add. So 3 of them will be added at the same time. So I'll just go here as well, put 1 hour. Kickoff meeting is just 1 hour or 2 hours max. So you can put 2 hours max, right? So per day in this activity, they will work only 2 hours. Then site visit. So since site visit is something these guys will go, so I can also add 3 of them in site visit, and I will allow it to run for the normal time. Okay, so it needs to run for the normal 8 hours that they are going to work. Okay, so here I can put it 8 hours. So I did some setting in my system. That's why it's meant to show 8 hours by default, but it's showing me 10 hours by default. So, but I just want to change it to 8 hours so that it will not show overloaded. So this is how you assign activities. So if you're assigning those activities, if you look here, you will be seeing them. You will see all the whole activities you have assigned. So now here is just to call it up. If you don't want, you can leave this column and use this assign here to call this assign boss up. I can click on it here, right? This is the assign boss, and now start selecting what I want to assign. So this is just pretty how to assign these resources. Okay. I don't know if we are good. Should we go ahead? Or we need to share the file with you guys so that you create the resources and assign them. I have actually listed them out, but I don't know. I'm looking forward. It's like I save it in the other system. So I'm just trying to get it. So just to forward it to the platform. Or are you sure I did not even send that stuff in the platform? Because I know there was when I sent an Excel file that have, let me check.